Are you trying to build your left foot coordination and get your hi-hat timekeeping on autopilot, but your left foot is just clumsy, it won't work fast enough, and it won't allow you to play the precise hi-hat open notes that you want to? I'll break down for you why switching to heel up on the hi-hats is your solution. I'll give you 3 reasons why you should switch, or 3 reasons why you should confidently stay the course if you're already playing heel up. That way you're keeping quicker, faster left foot time, nailing your open notes and sounding like a total pro, and also feeling more comfortable at the kit. You can do this. Hey, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. Glad you're hanging out today. I help beginner and intermediate drummers become the musicians that others actually want to play with and want to have in their band. And we do this by teaching you the core drumming skills that save you time and get you results faster. And hey, while you're here, if you are a beginner drummer and you know that you need to build some 4-way independence so that you can start playing the things you want to play and free your feet up to do whatever you want them to do on the kit, if that's you, I've got a special gift for you. This is my 30 days to 4-way rock coordination for the beginner drummer. This is a PDF e-guide. It's really cool because all you do is you learn one new groove every day and you build 4-way independence step by step. And it's so much fun because you're not doing drills and exercises, you're playing grooves that you use in songs. It's so much fun that you'll forget you're even building independence in the process. This is the fun method to being able to build your independence so that you can play the songs you want to play. A lot of fun, really cool. Most importantly, the work is all cut out for you. This is your shortcut because here it is. Just practice this. You no longer have to scour the internet figuring out how to free your right foot or get your left foot to keep time. It's all right here. It's yours, totally free. Go grab it in the description. All right, on with today's lesson. 3 reasons why you should switch to heel up, or if you're already doing heel up, why you should stick with it and be confident in that approach. But I'm not just going to give you a quick, here's 3 reasons why, great, go, good luck. I'm going to give you all the specifics of exactly what to be focusing on, what to practice, and how to practice these elements of heel up playing so that you're able to take advantage of these 3 big reasons. Otherwise, this would be kind of useless. So this is going to be nitty gritty, full of some meat. Let's get going here. Reason number 1, faster chick timekeeping. If you haven't thought about this, just think about this for a second. If you are playing heel down on the hi-hats, then your chicks, where you're closing, keeping them closed, will just sound like this, which is fine. And if you're playing heel down, you can get fine sounding chicks if you're not playing too fast. But as you start going faster, it starts to get really clumsy and really cumbersome, and it's difficult to play them quickly. And I remember being at a point in my playing where I saw other drummers keeping fast time with their foot on the hi-hat. And I thought, wow, how are they doing that? And I had to really start paying attention to what they were doing. And I learned, okay, you know what? If I lift up my heel, all I've got to do is bounce my heel like that, and I have these automatic faster chicks on the hi-hat, which is really cool. Now, that's not to say that heel down is wrong when you're playing slower chicks. Like if you're playing something like this, or if you want to throw in a splash like that, that works great heel down. When you're just playing slowly, you can get a nice thick, one-off chick sound, no problem. But when you're going faster, you really need to raise that heel up. Otherwise, you're always going to be hitting a speed wall. So how do we do this? Well, first thing you can practice. I'm just going to take off my shoes here so you can check out my nice woolly socks that keep my toes warm this time of year, January. Practice just bouncing your heel up and down with your big toe planted on the floor. So you can, if you want to practice this on your hi-hat stand, that's fine. But I recommend just take your foot off your hi-hat stand. You can practice this sitting anywhere. Plant your big toe on the floor. So that's the only part of your foot that's actually touching the floor. And then raise your heel up and down. And just get used to that feeling. So big toe is staying planted. It's hinging up and down. Your whole leg is moving. So your knee's going up and down. Therefore, your heel is going up and down. But your big toe is staying planted. That's really important. We don't want to go like this, where we're like stomping, going up and down. That would make no sense. That wouldn't make sense on the kick drum either, because if you're stomping and your foot's leaving the foot plate, everything's going crazy, you're losing control. That would be like letting go of your drumsticks every time after you hit a drum and then trying to catch it to then play the next note. Stupid, right? So make sure you're keeping your big toe planted as you're going up and down. Just get used to that motion, that simple. Then putting my shoe back on here because I just wanted you to see the big toe thing. It's very difficult to me. If I'm playing in my socks, I feel like my feet slide all around, all over the place on the foot plate. I cannot play drums in socks. I hate playing barefoot because the pedals are ice cold. Somehow, even if it's summer, they're just ice cold. And my feet are always cold. I don't like going barefoot, so I've always got these house shoes on. I wish I could tell you what brand, I guess I could tell you what brand these were if I actually looked. Doesn't matter. LL Bean, these are some good ones. Get you some LL Bean or some Clark's. Find a good brand of house shoes, just slippers like this, because these are so great for playing the drums. This is an unofficial endorsement, by the way. I love thin house shoes that have some flexibility, because if your shoes are too stiff, then you don't feel like you have full control over your pedals. But if you've got some flexibility like this, plus grip, that's what's great about slippers like this, then you feel like you can feel the pedals, but you've got all this grip, so you stay under control. I know that was a total side tangent, but I hope that's helpful for you. If maybe you've been dealing with slippage or you haven't found the right shoes, when you're practicing at home, or bring these on the gig with you, put them in your backpack, have some slippers like this. I've found them to be invaluable, honestly. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you see these in every video, you know I love them. Anyways, plant your left foot here on the pedal. I like to have a couple inches, 2 to 3 inches between my big toe and the chain, and practice that same thing. Heel just going up and down, nice and slow like this, not making a sound. Now, what I want you to do is gradually allow your big toe to release a little bit of pressure when your heel goes up. So gradually we're allowing, the big toe is still touching there. We're not going to leave the foot plate, but allow a little bit of weight to come off as you hinge up, and then a little bit more weight to go down. That way you gradually start to get a sound here. Until, if you allow the foot plate to go up and down, your shoe is still staying in contact, you're allowing the foot plate to go up and down, now you've got louder chicks. So that's how you control your volume, the amount of downward pressure you're putting there, not the amount of heel motion. That's going to stay the same. Heel motion stays the same, but the amount of downward pressure here and leg weight on the pedal determines the volume. So just practice that. That's really about it. Nothing complicated here. Just get used to that motion. Practice doing that, because once you get that down, that's going to start to become autopilot where you don't have to think about it, and then you can just groove. And that fast kind of stuff really does start to feel effortless when you can just bounce your leg like that. You don't really have to think about it. All right, reason number 2, why you should switch to heel up. Hopefully that reason number 1 was compelling enough. I think it is. That's what switched me. That's what made me switch to heel up, when I realized I can keep faster timekeeping. So I was sold at that point. Number 2, more precise open notes. It's tough to close the hi-hats hard enough and fast enough in order to get a clean ending to an open note. Here's what I mean. If you're playing something like this, hear how that's kind of just a little bit sloppy? Watch what my left foot is doing here. Maybe it's not totally sloppy, but I feel like I don't have a strong ending to those open notes. If you've run into anything like this, where it's just kind of that muddled mess of like, okay, we're kind of open, well, okay, this is supposed to be closed. If you're having trouble playing something that you want to sound like this, where it's like, okay, that is obviously closed, that is obviously open. You want to have a big contrast, a big difference, so your playing sounds clean, polished, and professional, and not like an amateur mess. That's where the left foot technique comes in. Trust me, I've been there. When I was trying to play open notes from a heel down position, I was never able to close them fast enough and hard enough to put a nice clean ending onto that open note. On the drums, we don't really have to worry about note length that much, except for when we're playing open notes. What good is that open note, even if we started at the right time, if it doesn't end when it's supposed to? Like if our playing ends up sounding like this, it just turns into a mess so easily if we're not careful. But if you allow your heel to come up when you close the hats, then you can put more pressure there and put a more firm punctuation mark right there at the end. So here's what I want you to do. Here's your action step with this. When you play an open note, because you want to hit the hi-hats when they're loose and then gradually open them a little more to develop the sound. There's other videos here on the channel, more lessons specifically about this. It's easier to do that from a heel down position. So this is maybe our exception where we want to do something heel down, but we're then going to go back to heel up to close. So it would look like this. So heel down when we strike, hats are loose, sizzly, heel down when we strike, and then we go opening up and then close from heel up so we can close firmly. Whether it's a longer note like that or something quick. And you could hear a minute ago when I was playing that quick example, I could go like this. I could throw in quick little splashes like that without even thinking about the left foot because the chicks are already happening, which means if I throw in that left hand there on the offbeat, there's automatically going to be a little open hat bark kind of thing there. And because I've got my heel up, they're always closing firmly, so there's always a clean ending to that. So whenever you end an open note, whenever you're going to that closed sound, lift your heel up so that it's nice and clean. All right, reason number 3, why you should switch to heel up on the hi-hat. This is an interesting one. Playing heel up affords you the possibility of having your hi-hats closer to you and therefore more within reach. So if you look from this overhead camera view of where my pedals are positioned on my kit, you can see how, so this is the direction I'm facing. So if we drew a line here, this is our y-axis, I'm facing that way, x-axis, you can see how my hi-hat pedal is a little bit closer than my kick pedal. And that's because I'm playing heel down on the kick, so my leg needs more room. It's that whole common sense thing of if you have your heel planted, it's a lot harder to lift your foot up if your heel is right here, right? This is hard. But now I move out to here, oh, that's not hard. So you find that sweet spot. You have to be further away from your kick drum if you're playing heel down. Likewise, if I were going to exclusively play heel down on the hi-hat, I'd probably want to have the hats a little bit further away. But this is as far away as I want them because if they're any further away, I start feeling like I've got to lean into them. If I'm playing, I'm naturally going to lean into a cross stick a little bit, but even if I'm playing, you know, it would honestly be nice if they were even closer, I think. It'd be great to have everything really close, honestly. You know, in a perfect world, somehow all of your drums would be right here, but that's just not the way it works because drums take up space. So we end up having to compromise, and we have to have our hi-hats a little bit further away, so there's some room here. But if we were playing heel down, the hi-hats would need to be way back here, and that just wouldn't work. But if you go heel up, well, that means if your heel is up and you're doing this leg bounce thing, you can do that with your foot pretty close to you. Like you can have your heel a lot closer to you and still be able to do this leg bounce. Now, don't get ridiculous. Make sure you've still got some space here, but it just means that your leg does not have to feel cramped, even if you pull your hi-hats a little bit closer, because we play on our hi-hats a lot in a lot of songs, and so we want to have them in a comfortable position. We want the snare to be comfortable where we don't have to lean to get to it. Same with the hi-hat, and we want to be able to go straight from the hi-hat down to the snare like this because we might do a lot of this back and forth. So we want to really optimize where our hi-hat cymbals are, which means compromises have to happen somewhere. But if you're playing heel up down here, it's easier to be flexible with that, and you don't have to be quite as picky. Your left leg, at least, doesn't have to be quite as picky about where the hi-hat stand is. So, a little bit of review here. Number 1, practice that leg bounce. Even if you've been playing heel up, maybe you haven't actively worked on that. If you've been playing heel down, this is going to be totally new and maybe foreign to you, but it's so worth practicing. If you want to be able to keep effortless autopilot left foot timekeeping, where you can just have your left foot do, you know, 8th notes, ands, 1, and 2, and, or quarter notes, same pacing as the ands. If you want to be able to do those things without thinking, learn the leg bounce because that's going to be so game-changing and so transformative in your playing. I know it was for me because it meant I could play something like this. And I could play whatever weird stuff over here and have left foot gluing it all together so that I could get away with more experimental parts over here if the song called for it. Meanwhile, the singer and the guitar player could stay locked into my left foot. That can really be helpful with gluing a band together when you've got that left foot going. So you want that to be autopilot. Practice the leg bounce. Your open notes need to be precise. Practice starting an open note heel down, going to heel up to close them tightly. That is so worth practicing. And again, there are lessons on more detail, on all the nuance, all the subtlety involving leg bounce and open notes. More lessons on that in the description, so go check those out. And then get your hi-hats exactly where you want them. By the way, I recommend having them at about 10:30. If the snare drum is a clock, we're facing this way. It happens that the Remo logo is right at noon here on mine. You can see how the hi-hats are a 45-degree angle. So they're halfway between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Right at about 10:30, overlapping by about an inch, and they're about, the Vic First stick, they're about the H above the snare. Take that for what it's worth. You don't have to put your hi-hats exactly there, but for me, having long legs, I still can get them that close because of going heel up. Totally worth the compromise. So I hope this takes you from slow, clumsy left foot to quick, precise fluidity that gives you that clean, polished, professional sound and glue that holds your grooves together. These things are so transformative, so awesome, so practice this. Question for you, so let's get some discussion going in the comments, because anytime we're talking about an A or B sort of technique, it's always great to talk about this. Tell me, have you been playing the hi-hats heel up or heel down? If you've been playing heel up, great, we're in agreement. Of course, there are those moments where you want to go heel down and then go to heel up, so it's not a totally black and white one or the other. There are times that you want to make exceptions. But tell me about your technique. Do you like playing hi-hats heel up or heel down? Because a lot of times our hi-hat technique and position is totally different from what we're doing on the kick. On the kick, I'm pretty much exclusively heel down, and I can play as loud as I need to, as fast as I need to. I rarely will go to heel up over here. But hi-hat can be a totally different story. And hey, if you're feeling like your struggle isn't so much switching your technique here and doing the whole leg bounce thing and all that, maybe you've got some of that happening, but you need the next step of, okay, how do I coordinate this into my grooves? Go grab that coordination guide. Go grab the 30 days to 4-way coordination for the beginner drummer. Even whether you're a total beginner or you're a little more intermediate, you've been playing for a while, you'll be able to pick up somewhere in this 30-day step-by-step journey in this guide and really start working that left foot in. That's what we do early on in that coordination method. Free PDF, go download it. You'll start working your left foot into your groove so that you're developing true 4-way coordination that you can directly use in your favorite songs. Which, by the way, as you use it in your favorite songs, that helps solidify it. It gives you that confidence and you have more fun practicing, which is great. That guide is pretty revolutionary. I'll be honest with you. You work through that guide and you work through each of those steps day by day, building your coordination, suddenly everything gets easier on the drums. So go grab that. My gift to you, put it on your iPad, print it off, whatever you want to do, but take it to your practice room. Let's build some coordination. Let's work that left foot and let's improve our hi-hat skills so that we're all sounding professional and polished. You can do this. So I hope this lesson's been helpful. I hope this has been valuable to you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Be sure to check out those other lessons on some of the more detail, nuance, and subtlety of those foot techniques if you're interested in that. But hey, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you on the next lesson. Stay non-glamorous, and as always, know that you can do this.